There's something unsettling about the phrase recently disclassified. It sounds harmless, administrative, routine, but it really means this. There was something the public wasn't allowed to know, and now, for whatever reason, you can. Tonight, we're opening the files that were stamped archive, buried, and forgotten. Not about UFO crashes, not about secret weapons, but about something stranger. Psychics, remote viewing, paranormal investigations, and a government that quietly asks, what if it's real? And if this is something you're into, like, subscribe, and share, and continue to the end for the conclusion of what we were not supposed to find out. Fear tingles down your spine and hairs stand on end. Mysteries unknown and tales in the dark. Are you ready? Hello? Picture it. The Cold War, the 1970s, nuclear tension, espionage, paranoia, two superpowers staring each other down like cowboys and with thermonuclear weapons. And somewhere inside the walls of the Central Intelligence Agency, a man slides a file across the desk. The file doesn't contain satellite images. It doesn't contain intercepted communications. It contains this phrase: remote viewing. The claim that certain individuals could close their eyes, focus on coordinates, and describe locations, people, or objects thousands of miles away. No satellites, no drones, no technology. Just consciousness. Now, here's where it stops being conspiracy. The CIA didn't laugh. They funded it. Project Stargate. Eventually, this research would become known as Project Stargate. Yes, that was the official name. It ran for over 2 decades, from the 1970s into the 1990s. The goal? To determine whether psychic phenomena could be used for military and intelligent purpose. Leave it up to our government to use someone's abilities as a weapon. Not for fun, not for curiosity, for warfare. One of the most prominent remote viewers was a man named Ingo Swann. Swann claimed that he could perceive distant locations with shocking clarity. During one session, he was giving coordinates with no context. He described as a large crane and a submarine construction site in the Soviet Union. Later, satellite imagery reportedly confirmed similarities. Coincidence? Lucky guess? Or something else? Either way, the government kept paying him. Now, here's where it gets eerie. Swann was tasked with remote viewing Jupiter before NASA probe arrived. This was before detailed public data. He described ring structures around Jupiter, electrical disturbances, strange atmospheric features. Years later, when NASA's Pioneer 10 sent back data, Jupiter had rings. Now, skeptics argue interpretation bias, believers argue proof. The CIA argued keep the program running. If you think the CIA dabbling in psychic espionage was strange, let's talk about the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Yes, the FBI. I'm so gonna get tagged for this. The one known for hard evidence and procedural rigor. Buried in declassified files are documents showing investigations into psychic detectives, ghost reports, occult claims, paranormal threats. Why? Because sometimes citizens wrote in claiming psychic help could solve murders, and sometimes agents followed up. In several files, individuals claimed that they could locate missing persons. Some letters were ignored, some were archived, but others were evaluated. Because when you have no leads, you look everywhere, even into the shadows. In the 1970s, Israeli psychic Uri Geller was tested under government observation. He claimed that he could bend metal with his mind and read hidden drawings. Documents show controlled experiments were conducted. Results debated to this day, but here's what matters. The government didn't dismiss him outright. They studied him. This wasn't random curiosity. The Soviets were reportedly researching psychic warfare too. If the enemy believed psychic espionage was possible, the US couldn't afford not to test it. It wasn't about believing, it was about not falling behind. Imagine losing a war because you mocked something real. That fear is powerful. Powerful enough to fund the impossible. Now, here's where we slow down just a little. Because the files don't read like fantasy novels. They're clinical, dry, stamped. They include coordinates, session transcripts, analysis evaluations, funding approvals. One document describes a remote viewer attempting to locate a downed aircraft. Another describing a hostage location. Some sessions were vague, some were shockingly specific. Most ended with this type of conclusion. Result inconclusive. Not fake. Not confirmed. Inconclusive. Which might be more unsettling than either extreme. So in 1995, Project Stargate was officially terminated. The conclusion, it has not produced actionable intelligence consistently enough. But here's the part that no one talks about. It ran for over 20 years. Governments don't fund useless programs 2 decades without a reason. Something kept it alive. Now, let's take a step back. Was it psychic ability or was it something else? Some researchers suggest remote viewing might be tapped into pattern recognition, subconscious interference, micro-cue memory reconstruction. Others believe consciousness might not be confined to the brain. Quantum theories enter the chat, and suddenly what sounds mystical becomes physics adjacent. And this is not hidden anymore. Thousands of pages were released through CIA's electronic reading room. You can download them, read sessions, transcripts, see analysis notes. There's something chilling about reading government paperwork discussing psychic coordinates as casually as budget proposals. Because once it's real paper, it's no longer just a late night radio story. And here's what makes NightlyHaven material. The government did not confirm psychic powers, but they also never fully disproved them either. Instead, they did something stranger. They tested them quietly for decades, which leads to an uncomfortable thought. What if the most unbelievable conspiracies were investigated and quietly shelved? Not because they were fake, but because they were unreliable or dangerous or unpredictable. Remote viewing communities still exist. Former Stargate members give interviews, some insist the abilities were real but misunderstood, and the file remains public, searchable, waiting. Because sometimes the truth isn't hidden, it's just buried under bureaucratic language no one wants to read. And here's the thing. The government didn't declare psychics real. They didn't declare them frauds. They declared them inconclusive. And maybe that's the most honest answer. Because certainty is comforting. Inconclusive, that lingers. So the next time someone says, that's just a conspiracy theory, you might smile and say, is it? Because some conspiracies aren't theories anymore. They're paperwork. And sometimes the files were never meant to be interesting, just forgotten. Good night. Stay curious. And if you ever find yourself reading declassified documents at 2 a.m., don't worry. You're not the only one who wondered what else they're tested. Have a good night, guys. Bye.